Welcome back to another episode of Doing the Most. It's your host, Most, and I really do, I'm not going to apologize every episode, but basically I did want to do this after every single game of the playoffs. Not every game, but every game one when every team finished, game two when everyone finished. And the games just came so fast. Everything was just happening. And I was just sitting here as a fan whoa, wow, what's going on? Yo, that's crazy. And I want to start off by saying I lost the studio. I will not be able to be going there anymore for at least a while until I figure out another setup. I figure out some other stuff. So for now, that obviously discouraged me, right? But I told you guys last time, sometimes life throws at you stuff and you just got to figure it out, maneuver. You got to adjust some things. And here's our little adjustment. Let me know if this works out. We'll try something different every episode until we like something, until we make it happen. People told me a green screen with the logo in the back just sounds perfect, sounds good. But I'm down to do an actual sit at home setup with a couch or something. I'm down to try different things. If you think I should have different things in the background, let me know. I'm fit. I just want to talk basketball with you guys. That's really why I'm here. We basically made our predictions on all these series, and I honestly don't even remember any of them. That's how long it's been. But we're going to just begin by talking about some of the Eastern Conference stuff, the Western. Every team is pretty much done besides one. There's still one series going on. And the second round begins today. Literally, first team in the second round starts today. And I'm just so excited. I literally am. Even though some of the champs and some of there's just so many teams that lost already. And it doesn't matter. That's not what it's about. It's about playoff basketball, the best time of year, at least for me. I'm sure some of you guys can relate and believe that NBA playoffs, that's literally it. That is game time. That's when it's so exciting. That's when you don't want to do anything. When your parents are calling you or your whatever significant other is telling you, let's go do this, and there's a game on and you just want to watch it. That's how I feel. I just want to watch. I sit down, I clear my schedule, and I'm locked and loaded to my TV. And that's just what it's all about. So we'll begin with the one and only sweep. There was one sweep, and we talked about this being a revenge series for the Milwaukee Bucks, and that's how they took it. Man, Giannis and all of them. I know we talked after game one and said this series could be great because of that first game, but the Bucks handed it to the Miami Heat. They took it out full throttle, literally they dismantled them. They made them look like bubble frauds. And I use that term not the same way everyone else uses it because I don't believe in that. I genuinely do not. I think the bubble was something that was so different for so many players, and some players were able to take advantage of it. They didn't need that crowd. They didn't need, they mentally were strong enough. And I think that's what the Heat were. I think it worked out well for their young guys. I think they were just a collective culture or team that was able to mesh well last season in that bubble, because I don't think the bubble was easy and it made other teams be able to perform because everyone had the same exact thing going on. But the Bucks took it personal. They got better, obviously. The Heat did not, and the Bucks were able to win in 4. Now, I wasn't surprised at all by that series. It's just something that kind of made sense, right? I definitely seen the Bucks making it for this run, even though now they're playing one of the favorites. But we'll talk about that in a second. Every team in the East was able to finish their series in 5. No team went to 7. I thought some of them were. I thought the Hawks and the Knicks had a chance to go 7. We knew that Philly and the Wizards weren't going to be a fun matchup. I thought it would be fun. Some of the games would be, not interesting, they're going to be close. But I thought there was going to be, some bittersweet rivalry, some back and forth. And there was a little bit, but nothing too crazy. Embiid got hurt. Something with his meniscus. And that gave the Washington Wizards one game. But other than that, the 76ers were too much. They're the number one team in the East for a reason. They were able to finish that in 5. Now, the Knicks, with their big crowd, weren't even able to win at home. They were only able to win one game at home. And Atlanta, Trae Young, man. Trae Young was able to do his thing. We saw Clint Capella talking trash. That's something that Rose said he would not talk trash back because who's Clint Capella? We saw a lot of the guys like Julius Randle was I'm not with it. But Clint Capella backed it up. The Hawks came out there. They beat the Knicks twice in MSG, which is big time. The silencers were real. They were able to put it down. And Trey's one of the most hated men in New York. They had the mayor talking about him. And it just is what it is. If you hear my dog in the background, my dog just wants to be famous sometimes. Sometimes he just wants to be in anything I do type vibes. But yeah, man, speaking of dogs, Julius Randle didn't bring it out in him. He wasn't the most improved player in that series. He didn't show that he was playoff ready, more or less. D Rose did his thing in that series, but other than him and like Alec Burks, like the Knicks weren't ready. The Hawks just dismantled them. So now the Hawks are going to be playing the 76ers. Speaking of 76ers, I forgot to mention Seth Curry was playing really, really well. Ben Simmons had a triple-double in that last game. Like, that team was playing well together. Tobias, Doc Rivers making them look really good. They didn't choke a 3-1 lead this time. And that team, they got some health issues to figure out. Now, they're saying he's day-to-day with Embiid, but I don't know. Like, I'm kind of worried because you don't want to see a guy get injured more. So we'll see how it actually plays out. I hope he's healthy. I hope he could come back. If I'm dumb, I wouldn't play him game one. I would test out this series without him against the Hawks. You obviously have Ben Simmons. You have great defenders that could kind of slow down Trae Young. And then we see how it goes from there. But we'll see. I'm excited. I hope they can get him back healthy and all that good stuff. Now, the last Eastern Conference matchup was dealing with injuries too without Jaylen Brown. And Kemba missed some games and stuff. But the Boston Celtics really had no shot against the Brooklyn Nets. They were able to get one game because Tatum had 50. Like, legit 50 on the big three for the Brooklyn Nets. But Brooklyn, they looked in control. They really weren't scared. They weren't worried at any point. But now they're going up against the Milwaukee Bucks. So this series can be incredible. It really can. I think this could be the most insane series. They actually play tonight at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. They're the first game of round 2 of the playoffs, and I'm so excited. They got Giannis, who I'm not going to say can guard KD because no one can really guard KD, but out of the players in the league, he guards him probably the best. They were showing like the shooting percentages that he has against him, and obviously Giannis can slow him down slightly more than anyone else because of his length, because of his strength, right? He's pretty strong as well. They got Drew Holiday, who's one of the better defenders in the league as well, especially at that position. So he's going to either take Kyrie or Harden, and Middleton can kind of hold his own. Their team defense is great. Like, the Bucks are one of the best defensive teams in the league and one of the best offensive. So they can try to shoot the same way as the Nets. So we'll see if they're gonna, like, that shootout is gonna go in whose favor. They are playing in Brooklyn, and now that the Knicks are no longer there, Brooklyn is kind of the team in New York. So that, like, plays a factor in the crowd and all that, like ticket prices. I know my sister's going to that game tonight. So if anyone's going to games, have fun, stay safe, don't do anything crazy. That we've been seeing so many crazy fans. I'll talk about that at the end. Like, all these fans have been insane. But today's game could be nuts, like legitimately nuts. The Nets have to show that they can play defense, because I think that's what it's going to come down to. Like, winning games with just offense is fine, but playoff time, you got to show that you can handle and slow down some of these best players. I'm not saying Giannis is going to dismantle them, right? Because I don't know, this first game isn't even going to be like, it's not really going to be it. Like, yeah, it's going to show us a little bit, but I'm not going to say whoever wins this is winning it, because at the end of the day, these are some of the best in the best, and they're going to make adjustments. They're going to figure things out. Like, whoever wins game 1 obviously is going to be maybe a little statement, but I think this series can go anyway. Like, it really is a toss-up. I've been seeing a lot of professionals talking about it, and some of them are saying the Bucks, some of them are saying the Nets, and I believe that whoever wins this series has a really good shot at winning the finals, especially that Embiid is out. So I think they got a clear path to the East, or not clear, but I think, like, the East is whoever wins here, and I think the finals is kind of in their hands, which could be crazy because we haven't seen an East team win in a while. This is just me predicting. Obviously, it can go any way. We don't really know. But this series right here is big time. Obviously, you can say that about anything. Oh, whoever wins this can make the finals. I think the winner of this series gets more confident. This is going to be a big battle for them, and whoever wins this is just going to come out stronger than ever and just look great. Now, we'll move on over to the West. The West was a little bit different. We know how the West is stronger. No game finished in 5. Actually, one game finished in 5, and that was the Grizzlies. The Grizzlies really had no business being in the playoffs, but they worked hard. They got through, right? They made it. They beat big teams, including the Warriors for sure. And when they made it, They got the first game. They looked great. They beat the Utah Jazz till Donovan came back in. And when Donovan came back, they got the gentleman's sweep. Beat them 4-1, nice and easy. Utah looking great, looking like the number one team in the league for sure. Now, this wasn't an L for the Grizzlies at all because they are one of the youngest teams in the league. And this was playoff experience. Playoff experience is something you can't make up. You can't simulate it. You really can't, you can't get prepared for it. Like, playoff experience is playoff experience. These guys get a lot smarter. The game slows down for them just by playing in the playoffs. They feed off that crowd. Like, they learn how the atmosphere is. It's like a whole different world for Ja Morant, who literally never had a chance to play in something like this. Or Dylan Brooks, who's kind of emerging as, I'm not even going to say a two-way, but one of the better defenders in the league. He's obviously shown some offense. He had a really big game in that series. But this was definitely a coming out party for the Memphis Grizzlies. They needed something like this, right? They showing that their youth is ready, kind of. They're right there. We said this about, like, Sacramento as well. Like, they're supposed to be coming up next too. Like, these are the teams that are supposed to be the future. So we'll see how it goes. Now, Utah is waiting. They don't know who they're playing yet because one series is still not over. And that series is between the Clippers and the Dallas Mavericks. Now, this series is kind of something we've never seen before. We've seen it kind of happen in the past, but never like this. And that is that every home team has not won a game yet. No home team has won on their home court at all. So home court advantage does not exist. It's more of a away team or away court advantage, I guess. I don't know. But literally 6 games have been played and no teams won at home. Dallas went and beat the Clippers twice in LA. Then LA came back and beat Dallas twice in Dallas. And then they've been going back and forth. The Dallas Mavericks had a chance to finish it yesterday. But the Clippers, man, Kawhi Leonard had 45. He was doing his thing. He looked incredible yesterday. And this series between two of the best owners, or most passionate owners that we see at every game, is going to 7. And you can't make it any better. So they'll be playing tomorrow. And I'm really, really excited. Clippers, Mavericks. Wow, that's going to be insane. And it's actually wild because Luka has been playing out his minds more or less, right? Yesterday he had a bad game. But it's weird to me because the Clippers have, like, arguably some of the best defenders ever. Like, at least in the NBA now. Not ever as in all time. But, like, PG, Kawhi, Nicholas Batum, Patrick Beverly, Morris, even, like, Reggie Jackson. They're all great defenders. And they keep switching on Luka. And they're making it hard for him. But yesterday, Kawhi took it personal and said he's guarding him pretty much most of the game. And he did that. They were more aggressive with him. And that's why we're going into a Game 7. I think this could hurt the Dallas Mavericks that they didn't finish it off. I don't know if we can have it that 7 straight games, no team won at home. But we'll definitely see how it unfolds. So whoever wins that plays the Utah Jazz. And now the other side of the Western bracket, you had the Denver Nuggets playing against Damian Lillard. Literally just Damian Lillard. I told you it would be a battle between Jokic and Lillard. But the Nuggets came to play. Michael Porter Jr. played well. They had a lot of guys step up in Austin Rivers, Monte Morris, stuff like that. And Lillard really didn't get much help throughout that series. Nurkic kept fouling out. CJ never played like CJ McCollum, not once. And I don't know. I told you guys I think if they lose, they blow up that team. And I think that's going to happen. It sucks that Denver doesn't have Jamal Murray because I think they have a chance at this finals because I still feel like it's wide open right now. But, like, without him, I don't know if they have enough. As in Denver, it's going to be really tough to win without a prolific point guard like that. But it was a 4-2 series. Lillard, man, he had a 55-point game. He had a playoff record for most threes made in a game. He broke Klay Thompson's 11 with 12. He had 12 threes off amazing shooting. He was shooting 60-70%, and they just weren't able to win that game because he had zero help. And now it's one of those free Lillard things that I've been talking about. He's so loyal. I don't think he's leaving. They just got rid of their coach, Terry. Terry's gone, and I know that's tough. Like, they've been trying to do it for so long together as a unit, and it just isn't working out, especially in the West. They're looking at getting Jason Kidd. I heard Lillard say a Kidd was one of those guys that he's down to have as their coach. I saw also rumors about Chauncey Billups. They're both assistant coaches in LA, one on the Clippers, one on the Lakers, and I don't know if that's going to be the difference maker. They definitely need to make some moves as well. CJ didn't look like a star at all. I think the only help they really had was Covington, and that's more off like defense. His offense, like, he was missing dunks. And it's just sad to see Lillard flame out like that. But Denver is a team. He definitely a great team. And once again, like without Jamal, I just don't see him winning it all. But they're gonna be playing the Phoenix Suns. That's wild. The defending NBA champs lost. It has happened a couple times for sure, but it doesn't happen like often. The last time this happened was the Dallas Mavericks in 2012, who did lose in an elimination game at home, which is the same thing the LA Lakers did. They just looked like they had no business playing these Phoenix Suns. The Phoenix Suns came out here and smacked them up. They beat them by 31 game. That last game in LA, they really also stepped on their throat early. Devin Booker looked like a star. And this is all pretty much without Chris Paul. Chris Paul really didn't have an impact on this series. It was Cameron Payne running the one. It was Devin Booker putting on a show. Ayton had some big games. And we can say that Anthony Davis being hurt definitely affected that series. Definitely a thing. I don't know why they played him in that last game. He played 5 minutes and he looked like he didn't belong on that court. He couldn't move up and down. And you can like aggravate an injury and make it worse. So I think the Lakers messed up there. Well, they should have learned, our team should learn from what happened with KD. You got to protect these players. I know you can't win without them and you feel like you need them now, but you got to protect their long-term future, right? I know, I'm sure, I'm positive AD said, I want to play. I know that for a fact. He's a competitor. He wanted to play. But as whoever you are, you got to just tell him, you got to sit down, man. We need you for the future. And that goes a long way. But LeBron James, first ever first round exit for him. He was 14-0 in the first round. And he got eliminated by one of his best friends in Chris Paul. So now we got the Suns, Denver Nuggets in the second round. That can be a fun matchup. Once again, without Jamal Murray, I can definitely see that going Phoenix's way. Phoenix, I mean, it depends. Is Chris Paul going to play? Can they slow down Devin Booker? Denver's got a little bit more size, I guess, but can Jay Crowder keep playing like Jay Crowder? One thing I will mention, because I tweeted about this, I said like Phoenix hasn't been here before. The reason I said that, yeah, the Suns haven't been there before, but Jay Crowder was in the NBA Finals. He should be better than to get a technical with a couple seconds left in a game that they already won. I feel like that stuff is going to count, and like they're going to feel it later, right? Chris Paul's been there before. He needs to calm his group, tell them we can't take stupid technicals at the end of games, because the longer you go in the playoffs, these technicals add up. We've seen it happen with Draymond Green where he gets a suspension in a key game. You don't want that happening. So you got to like act like you've been there before, even if you haven't. And some of these guys have been there. I'm sure they're happy they won. Devin Booker looked amazing, like I said, like a star. I'm excited for that matchup. Then that round 2, I'm excited to see who makes it out the West. I want to hear your predictions more. I don't really want to do predictions. I'm going to try to be more consistent with this. Let me know how the setup you want me to go about it. But I'm going to be more consistent. I want to talk after every game and give you guys my thoughts, my insight, what I feel like is going to happen. And that's really what I started this channel for. Besides, obviously, like being able to interview people, like I want to interview more YouTubers. I want to interview more NBA players, which is going to happen. We're going to have that happen really soon. Right now, it's fine because I don't have the studio. So we're working on little things here and there. Or at least me, I'm trying to. I appreciate you guys. Let's speak about fans really, really quick. If you're an NBA fan going to a playoff game, you need to buckle down, man. Buckle down. This is unacceptable. Legitimately makes no sense to me, because you should want to be there. Like last year, we had no fans. We were watching a bubble atmosphere. We were upset. If you're a fan, man, you're not doing any things that are going on right now. Throwing popcorn at an injured player leaving the court in Russell Westbrook, right? He gets ejected. He gets banned for life, whatever that means. Second, you spit on a player in the MSG and Trae Young. Bro, you can hate a man, but why you're a grown man spitting on another grown man? Like, what does that look like? If you have kids or something like that, like, what are you really doing? This man only got bans and stuff like that. That man really, you should get, honestly, you should get fines. You should get arrested or something like that. We've had all these fans in Utah saying crazy stuff to Memphis Grizzly players, which is normal. That happens, right? It always happens. But when you take like people's families into it, it's just like a whole different thing. Like chanting Trae is balding is fine, but like telling players stuff about their wives or like brothers and sisters and all that, it's just weird to me. Like I don't get it. But it's like sticks and stones, whatever. Words I guess are fine because you're NBA players and you gotta take it. But throwing stuff like throwing a bottle like Kyrie Irving as he leaves, like that's just unacceptable in my opinion. That guy actually got arrested, and I just hope like after an arrest, and we've seen a guy run on the court, I think guys just need to relax, calm down before they kind of ban fans in general. So let's just enjoy the moment, enjoy being there, and let's relax as a community because we love basketball, right? That's the reason you're paying all that money to be at this game. So relax because we want it to be here. We want it to stay. And let's protect these players. I know a water bottle probably won't do anything crazy to a player, but you never know. And then this is the COVID era. So, like, you don't want to get one of these players sick. I know these guys get tested and all that stuff, but, like, just everyone relax. Spit on a player, man. What are y'all really doing? For real, for real. But, yeah, that's pretty much it. First round was pretty great. I'm still excited for our 1 Game 7. I thought we would have more than 1 Game 7, but it's fine. It's kind of leading up to this round 2. Hopefully, we have a great playoffs. One thing I didn't mention is, so, obviously, the Heat and the Lakers were banged up all season, and I think it's because they only had 2 months off, right? 2 months and less than a half. 2 months and a half isn't even enough. They had a really short off season, which was the shortest we've ever had. I think it was 71 days exactly. So obviously that stuff played a factor in them being ready, and that's something I'm sure the NBA is going to take into consideration moving forward, that they're not going to jam all these games at one time, because They finished last year. They wanted to start early, and then when they started early, they made them play a shorter season, but it was all like they had so many back-to-backs, 3 games in 4 nights or whatever was going on, and it was just too much on some of these players. We had the most injuries I think we've ever seen. So many players were getting hurt left and right, and hopefully these players stay healthy. Hopefully we have a longer off season. Hopefully things come back to normal next season. We'll see how it goes. Let me know your predictions. Let me know if anything I said was wrong or you disagree with me. I love you guys. Thank you for doing the most, and I'll see y'all later.